so, I mean, I've done public speaking before, but I've never talked about something that's close to my heart. So, anyway, just pray for me. But first of all, I just want to kind of comment on my experience with this church. I've been in church all my life and have been a part of church. And my experience is that, truthfully, I really didn't like church. I didn't really like church people. They were very judgmental. When they saw me, they was like, look at her. Even at certain different points of my, as God was maturing me, you know, a lot of times people said I didn't look like the so-called church person or whatever. But one thing I was sure of is that, and I even had to say this to my husband, who really wished he could be here. His name is Rhonda Hamilton. We've been married 20 years. He's my, I might say, at times he's my better half. But what I would say is, people made comments like, you don't look like, you don't look like a church person. And one thing I always knew is, well, God created me. And I remember telling a friend of mine, well, you know what, I just don't believe that God allowed me to grow up on the west side of Chicago, in the hood, gang banging, false flagging, smoking marijuana at age 11, for me to come up here and act like this, because I can only be me. So, truthfully, I've always felt that my message might not necessarily be for the church people.
Well,
come on. It's for the people that don't even know about God, that maybe have lost their hope, that really want to find the truth. Yes. And so my attitude towards church, because I watched my mom go to church every Sunday, curse all the way there, get back home, we lived in poverty, no victory. So if God is so great, then why are all these things broken in my life? I struggled for a long time trying to figure out how can this God thing really, really work. And I decided that I was either not going to have no part of it, or it was going to have to work for me and I was going to be totally committed to it. But I had to be me. And I'm so grateful that that's all God ever wanted me to be in the first place. The more I study His Word, the more I realize that there's religion and there's relationship. And the difference is, He's created you. You are wonderfully made in His image.
Amen.
And we're all different.
That's right.
But He don't want you to be nothing but who you truly are.
That's right.
And so I was so blessed by Pastor Bill Berry last night. She was really, I was trying to keep him shut, and I was like, okay, Rhonda, now you got you still want to be a little cute. This is just how you roll. So you don't want to start jumping tables and chairs. I was really blessed, and just to, and it's so funny, I called my husband last night after we left and said, oh, baby, it was so good. He was like, really? I said, yes, Pastor Bilberry. I said, the pastor's mother, she was one of the first speakers, and she spoke about Deborah or Deborah. I still don't know which one. But he said, baby, I was going to tell you about that story. And I said, for real? And so, anyway, I just felt that it kind of is going to go along with what I'm going to touch on. And today, the blessing in my life is that I wasn't really raised by my mother. My dad and my mom, I guess when I was maybe 5, I don't really even remember this, decided that my mom was his 5th marriage. And so my dad decided that he didn't want to be there anymore. And so he had already had a former life in Kansas City. And so my mom was straight from Mississippi to Chicago. And so when he decided that he didn't want any part of that, he retired from the post office in Chicago, and then he left. And so my mother only worked part-time. She was straight out of Mississippi. She really didn't have a lot of skills.